Today, the president touted the U.S. economy at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The president has made the economy, including historically low unemployment rates, the center of his re-election campaign, while some experts say that Democrats could destroy the U.S. economy if elected. Grow America's Infrastructure Now, or GAIN, is a coalition of businesses, trade associations, and labor groups that focus on creating jobs and strengthening the economy. Joining us to discuss how that in the booming Trump economy is GAIN spokesperson Craig Stevens, who worked in the Bush administration for the Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me this morning, Stephanie.
You say if certain Democrats are elected, they will ruin the energy industry. What sort of policies do they promote that you say would be detrimental to the energy industry?
Well, first of all, as an American, I think it's unfortunate this has even become a partisan issue. You know, we are just 40 years removed from President Jimmy Carter saying, turn down the thermostat and put on a sweater. And now the United States is the #1 producer of natural gas and oil in the world. What the Democrats, and if you've watched any of these debates, there's all this talk of keep it in the ground. They want to shut in our nation's natural resources. And what that's going to do, it's going to raise our energy costs. It's going to hurt our economy. It'll cost jobs, and it'll also weaken our national security. I mean, it wasn't just a couple weeks ago when this issue with Iran happened, and there was barely a blip when it came to energy prices. So, you know, these policies, these keep it in the ground policies that many of these Democrats are talking about, will really have a deleterious effect on our economy, our national security, and of course on our jobs.
The Trump administration has given the green light to numerous projects in order to increase America's independence on energy output, such as the Keystone XL pipeline and the Dakota Access pipeline. This was especially relevant during the 2016 presidential election. Well, leading up to that presidential election, how much will this have an impact on the president's re-election this year?
Look, you're absolutely right that those decisions and the fact that he led with that during his campaign really made an impact in states that mattered when it came down to electoral college, states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and others, especially there in the Rust Belt, Ohio. I think you're going to see the same thing happen here in 2020 because these are important jobs to so many individuals. And, you know, one of the most important things that President Trump did when it came to actually winning, gaining an electoral majority was he's actually divide the labor vote. In places where there were traditionally a Democratic stronghold with the labor unions, he was able to get in there and talk to labor members, telling them that he's the one that's actually going to bring them the jobs that are important to them. A lot of these jobs are in the energy sector, and ultimately he was able to win that day. I think what you're seeing right now is a discussion about the Dakota Access Pipeline optimization, which would actually double the capacity of the Dakota Access Pipeline without any new mainline construction. So what that means is instead of about 550,000 barrels a day coming from the Bakken region of North Dakota, you're going to get about 1.1 million barrels a day. So that, again, that means we are going to be more energy secure here in the United States and actually have more jobs up there in North Dakota and throughout the energy sector.
And we also know the Trump administration is saying, listen, this is going to be actually a lot cleaner energy than if we import oil elsewhere, for example. We also know President Trump, he's focused on promoting key infrastructure investments. What type of an effect will this have on Americans?
Well, hopefully, if he's successful in reducing and updating NEPA, which is an environmental regulations that are often quite onerous and unnecessary at this point. We all agree that these projects, these major projects, have to be done in an environmentally sensitive way. But right now, these environmental regulations are just being used by those who want to keep our energy in the ground as a means to stop projects. It's not about making sure these projects are safe. For them, it's about stopping these projects. And a lot of these infrastructure projects can be several hundred miles or even 1,000 miles long. So along that route, they're able to find individuals and other points of vulnerability where they can file these onerous lawsuits to make it very costly for these infrastructure projects to move forward. So if he's able to actually hone in these regulations and make sure that these are common sense regulations, again, this could mean more jobs and a stronger national security.
Speaking of infrastructure projects, I do want to switch gears a little bit because many Democrats, they've been embracing the Green New Deal, including some of the 2020 presidential candidates such as Bernie Sanders, Senator Warren. But a lot of analysts and lawmakers say if that deal were ever implemented, it would have a devastating impact on the economy. What would you tell someone or a voter who says they support the Green New Deal?
Yeah, this is a great question because I don't think people really understand the consequences of what a Green New Deal would mean. And even today, we're seeing in places where energy infrastructure and natural gas delivery are being shuttered. In Long Island, for example, even up in the Northeast, people can't get natural gas. They can't get cheaper fuels. Right now, what's happening is the lowest income Americans are spending about 40% of their income on energy, whether that's gasoline to get to work or natural gas or electricity. And if we raise that price, it's only going to hurt the lowest income more, those folks trying to gain the middle class. And in addition, what's going to happen is we're going to be overly reliant on foreign sources of energy. We're going to be overly reliant on OPEC and places in the Middle East that don't necessarily have our best interests at heart. Russia will have an outsized influence in its region, where it has often used energy as a weapon to try to get countries in its region to do its bidding. I mean, right now, what we're able to do by having more energy on the market, by having more U.S. energy on the market, we're actually able to stabilize some of that activity and also, as I've said, create new jobs and make sure that we're safe here in America.
Some interesting points you make there. Where can our viewers go to learn more about GAIN?
So on Twitter, we're at GAIN Now America, and then that's a great place for folks to learn about what's going on and follow us there.
Craig Stevens, the spokesperson for Grow America's Infrastructure Now, or GAIN, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.